All right. And I tried to duct tape them, but it didn't work. So today we're going to talk about C2 channels with my lovely assistant Amanda here. Give her a round of applause. It's her first presentation. So let's dive in straight to the cyber.
Hello, my name is Amanda Brown. I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm a second-year CSEC student. I have a bad habit of making life decisions with coins, including RIT. I'm pretty involved with WIC. I blue teamed at RITSEC, and I do a lot of traveling, and I really like dogs. That's me in Italy, and that's me feeding a monkey in Guatemala.
Cool. I'm Ben Bornholm. I love dad jokes. If you want to get on my good side, it's the best way to do it. Every dad joke, I don't care how bad it is, the worse the better, actually, with me. I love Minions, as the bottom right photo suggests. I've been here way too long. I have a shameless plug-in. I have a blog called Hold My Beer Security. I'll reference it all the time. I love cyber, so I love doing instant response, threat hunting, and threat intelligence. So if any of those things kind of interest you, come talk to me. I'm the organizer for Guardians of the Network. I don't know why they put me in charge, but someone did. So let's start out with some dad jokes. Like I said, I love dad jokes. Why does a duck have feathers?
Why?
Didn't even give people a chance. To cover up their butt quacker. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
How does a computer get drunk? Nick, you're the alcoholic. Do you know?
Drinks beer, yeah.
Close.
It took too many screenshots?
Yes. It takes screenshots. And why was the cell phone wearing glasses? It lost its contacts.
Oh, gosh.
I love that one. I tried to hold it together, but I couldn't. All right, so we're going to start off with kind of the general basics, and then we're going to build our ways up.
Yep. So C2 stands for Command and Control. It's a channel between an infected machine and an attacker-controlled machine. This typically begins with a phishing campaign, just like an email with some malicious links with it. And then once the malware is on...
Come closer to the mic, please.
You're too short. We can't see you.
Oh, fine.
Sorry. So it'll just use a system vulnerability and...
Never mind, just go.
Okay.
C2 is often used for remote control.
Okay. So. Jack, follow me here. I'm throwing you for a curve loop. You know you got to. All right, we're going to use whiteboards because I love whiteboards. So let's get visualizing this whole thing.
Yeah. Okay.
This is your job.
Okay. So.
No! No! My worst nightmare. Does anyone have a marker? What? All right.
I was out of slack, bud.
That's all right. We were prepared for this. Hold on, we got a marker?
I think it's gonna be hard to see for like the other people
All right.
Doing it on paint.
Yeah, we're doing it on paint.
All right.
You ready? This is what happens when markers don't work. All right.
Oh no. This is ratchet. Okay, so the A stands for attacker, and I is infected machine. And so like your phishing campaign is successful, yeah? And the malware is on the infected machine, and the malware will make a call back to the attacker saying like, hey, I'm here, it's all good. And this is super common in competitions, so if anybody is interested in that, especially freshies, keep this in mind. And the first step in like protecting yourself from this is blocking the attacker's IP. but that's only a temporary solution because it's super easy to just change your IP. So you have to take it a step further, and you have to go into domain stuff. And
So let's break it down. Let's kind of just recap everything we've done, right? We got our infected box here on the right. We got our attacker box that our attacker controls, right? We dumped a phishing campaign. Basically, that's a big fancy term for saying we gave someone an email, you opened it, we just pwned you and ran code all over your box. Great, awesome. And you called back to us. So now we have what we call kind of a foothold on your machine, right? We can kind of run commands. We can interact with your machine, right? So our C2 is that arrow right there. It's the mechanism that allows us to talk to our infected machine. So let's say our attacker box has the IP address of 1.1.1.1.1. Just gotta keep it super simple, right? If you don't know what an IP address is, think of it like a telephone number, right? It's a telephone number, right? We're calling out to the attacker box on 1.1.1. You'll see this commonly in competitions. So you're gonna go, yeah, I don't think so, red team. Goodbye. We're gonna block that IP address. And we're like, oh darn. So you blocked us. So what does red team do? We take it up a notch. We go, okay, we're gonna use domains. That's right, I'll show you blue teamers. So, oh my, this is terrible. All right, this is why I like markers. So, I own a domain called malwarelove.xyz. If you're doing competitions, you'll definitely see it. So, if I give you a piece of malware with a domain inside of it, right, it's gonna call back to that domain, right? And let's say you see that happening, right? And you go, okay, well, malwarelove.xyz is pointed at 1.1.1. You're like, forget you, red team, I'm gonna block you. And I'm like, great. Guess what I'm going to do? My address is now 2.2.2, right? And eventually your computer and your system will go through a thing where they go to update their record, and then that malware will call back, right? So we kind of go through this continuous loop of where where if I have control of a domain, I can keep changing the IP address, right? And you'll keep calling back to me. So how do we stop that?
so to stop that, you basically just have to tell DNS, hey, I'm authorized, and then you will change the IP address of the domain, so malwarelove, XYZ, or whatever it is. And by doing this, they won't be able to contact their malware because you changed their IP address, hopefully to something not usable. And that's a sinkhole, my dudes.
Right. So basically, you tell your DNS server, we control this domain, not some external resource anymore. It's under our control. And so you sinkhole it, and so if malware is detonated again with that domain, it won't call back out again. Great. Awesome. So a couple things to keep in mind for those of you who want to do competitions, right? If you stop the communication between the boxes, that's a really great thing, right? My malware almost becomes useless at that point if I can't communicate with it. If I don't have a network connection to your infected box, and I can't communicate, I can't control it, you've effectively stopped me as red team, right? So keep that in mind. Just because you haven't got rid of the malware on a box, if you can stop the communication from happening, that's a really great step forward. Unless someone has like a ticking time bomb in their malware, which has ransomware, then you'll have to wipe it from the computer. But keep that in mind. It's a really effective strategy in competitions to stop the communication. Okay, so let's kind of look at a C2. Time for demo. This is the fun stuff. Woo! Get out of here.
You enhance.
I'm working on it. We're getting there. So here's PowerShell Empire. It's a red teaming tool that's really awesome. So we are.
Did everyone see that in the back? A little bit bigger. Yeah. Do like a couple more.
All right.
We won't catch the hack if we don't enhance. Wow. There we go.
Is it enhanced enough?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So we created a listener on our attacker box, basically. This is just listening on the box, and it's waiting for connections to come back from our infected machines. So we've effectively created that. If I can type. There we go. So, all this big fancy thing. Whoop, what happened there? my gosh. No. What'd I do? See, this is what happens when you don't sacrifice enough to the demo gods. All right, perfect. There we go. That's all I wanted. So basically, we have this thing called our stager, right? Stager, basically, I'll walk you through it, what it's doing. We're going to turn off security first, right? Makes everything a whole lot easier.
That's how you hack.
That's how you hack. Turn off security. Number one thing. Come on. Copy and paste with me. Work with me here. There we go. Okay. So basically, we're copy and pasting the stager. Look, it looks really fancy and all that. We're copying all this code. We're looking like hackers, right? So basically, all this gibberish. Holy crap. So basically, all this is just telling our machine, hey, we have an attacker box out somewhere on the internet. Here are the instructions on how to connect out to that box, right, for further instructions, right? So it's going to connect out to that box for further instructions, and it's going to download the actual malware. So we can actually see this. We're going to do Wireshark. You guys will all do this in Networking 101. Super fun time. No permissions for you. No, no, no. Okay. So. It disappeared. And if it worked correctly? No. All right. Let's just assume it worked, right? We would have had our box call back to here, and we would have been able to mess with the box, right? We would have been able to run commands. I would have do screenshot. I would have been able to install a keylogger on your box and say, hey, now I'm going to keystroke all the things that you're typing into your box, which is really great during a competition because if you guys change your passwords, I have them too, right? We like to share here. So basically, we'd be able to control your machine, right? So basically, all the things we were kind of talking about earlier. I'm going to try and enhance this, but I don't know how it's going to go. I can zoom in. Oh. Whoa. Ooh. Wow, magnifying glass. I've never done this. Woo.
This is very effective.
Yeah. Woo. How do I stop this from happening? Minus. Minus. Okay. Okay. Where are we here? Did it happen? Okay. So as we can see here, we were kind of talking about earlier. Here's kind of an example. Here's just an example of a DNS packet, right? We can kind of see that this is the domain that could be used to call back, right? And we can kind of see these as an attacker, right? So malware love, you would kind of look for queries like this. You can actually see this type of stuff and you go, no more malwarelove.com. So, and you can block that, sinkhole it, right? You can see all this traffic happening, right, with Wireshark. So, time to take it up a notch as Red Teamer. What?
You want the stream?
No.
Okay.
This part goes off the stream. This is where it gets fun.